The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tommy O'Brien today. I'll be doing his show. My guest today on Tommy's show will be Shane Smolian, and because he's been nailing this market pretty good. And the second part of the show, my show, the regular show, we're going to have the whole hour will be Peter Elides from Stock Market Cycles, and he's been doing this for a little bit longer than me. Anyway, Peter's a couple years older than I am, and but he's a stand-up guy, and he is very, very talented in a lot of different things, and he's just a nice guy, really humble, and boy, he knows this stuff ice cold, as they say in the trade. I posted a chart here, folks. Now you can see here, this is the one that we've been watching all week. This is the ABCD patterns. As you can see, the double ABCD patterns coming in here, but pay attention to this little red dot down here where it says 3850, I believe. Well, the low on that puppy was within, I think, about 5 pips of that, if I'm not mistaken. That was right on the money. So we're due to have a good rally, and we're starting to have a rally right now. So that's basically, it's nothing more than AB equals CD. I think it's important to remind ourselves of that. It can be that simple, but not always. Now let's take a look at one other one. Since you like ABCD, you're going to like this one because this is the most widely held stock in the world. Hold on one second here. Okay, there we go. We're watching here. Now, this happens to be Apple, folks. And again, if you will pay attention to the little red box here where the price is at 139 and change, you can see that the low in Apple yesterday was 139 and change. It's selling for a good 5% higher than that right now. So that tells us, yes, there was some type of a bottom occurred yesterday in these markets. Now, there's one other chart that was brought to us by one of our listeners, up north. I don't know exactly where it was, but I did want to bring this to you because this is a picture of the New York Stock Exchange Index, which is one of the very broad index. You know, it's not biased like the Dow and the NASDAQ and stuff like that. But as we look at this is very colorful too. I thought it would be nice to see the beautiful colors. But again, when you get down to the beautiful colors, it comes down to nothing more than A, B, C, D. That's what we're looking at right here. We should have a pretty good rally equal to this one right here. That's what we're looking to wait and see if we see that. Going below this level now after a 1 or 2 day rally, it's not good, folks, but we got to watch it. Now, if it's really good, and this is a really good bottom, it's going to come out of here really strong. Now, remember, we are already up 140 handles from the low that we made yesterday. So that is a very, very good start that we should start seeing the market go higher. And I've been bearish for quite a while, but as of yesterday, not bearish anymore. It had too many things saying, yeah, this was the time where we're most probably going to get a pretty good rally in here. So how big of a rally? You know, it's anybody's guess. And my guess is it'll probably be a pretty good one because the whole world is negative. Now, I wanted to bring something to your attention today that was on the news yesterday and today, and that is this cryptocurrency, Thermal Luna or whatever it is. Anyway, there's all kinds of chatter on the internet. Today, John Jameson was telling me that there were quite a few people that took their own lives. At the high of that market, folks, as you can see here just a couple of weeks ago, that was worth $2.5 million. And as of yesterday, it was worth $200. And that was enough, I guess, to push some people over the edge. I've been to that edge before, folks, in 1974, but I never, ever thought of, taking the easy way out, if there is such a thing as an easy way out. What you got to do is you got to go back and see, what did I do wrong? Well, if you're in that stock, you had several places you could have put a stop and said, Uncle, maybe get out with at least $1 million, for heaven's sakes. I remember when I got out, it was October. It was October, third week in October 1974, and I had, coming into that day, I think I had a balance of about $38,000. That was down from quite a bit more. Anyway, I was in cattle and soybean meal. They were both down the limit, and so I had to get out, and I got out at limit down. Of course, that was the absolute low tick, as you might imagine, and cattle rallied to be up limit that day. But I just shook it off. I said, well, I got to figure out what I did wrong, and I went through this before. You don't want to hear that again. But I mean, these are things that you got to realize that you got to be someplace in there where you want to call uncle. That's pretty much it. Now, if you were smart enough to buy some of that yesterday at 0.005%, okay, let's get back in here. I'm too busy right now, Mr. Shane, but I will do my best to get back into this again and take a look at it. Okay, Shane will be our guest here at the break. I wanted to alert you to that. I've talked to you about the Apple, and we discussed NASDAQ yesterday quite a bit, and we talked about that number in the NASDAQ that was so very, very important, and we went right down to it. And if I can just find it again, and I'm pretty sure I can, well, I'm not sure of anything, but I'm going to try to find it anyway. Where is it? And here it is. There we go. We'll get it right up here to take a look at it, and you'll be able to see here where we are here. Okay, here's where we are. All right. That's where we happen to be. Okay, now there's where the NASDAQ was. We went about 80 pips below that level. We hit just a tad under, I think we hit 116.90 or something, 11,690 or something like that. So we're due to have a pretty good rally. That's very close to the ABC. You can see that we also had the 50% retracement. Remember, folks, this NASDAQ, 12% of it is in Microsoft and in Apple itself, and both of those have made significant ABCD patterns. So that's enough to tell you this might be just nothing more than a nice correction in a bull market, folks. It certainly could. There's no question about it, because there's still there's a few things that are outstanding that we have to get through, but there's still that possibility. That's an ABCD in a bull market. And Gartley said on page 222 of that book that he paid, that he charged $1,500 for in 1937, buy that first ABCD in a bull market, sell the first ABCD in the bear market, and you could make a living just doing that trade, folks. That's the bottom line. Now, many people are talking about the U.S. dollar and how strong it is, and how weak the euro is and stuff like that. Folks, the euro has been weak for a very, very long time. In fact, 2 months ago, we were talking about this. I'll get it back up here so we can remind our listeners of what we were watching, because we don't talk about it too much because it moves so slowly, except recently it's starting to increase. But, when we were back up here, this high right here that we had this one right there, that was a major, major fib number. But then look, there was your first 382. There was your second 382. And then the early part of May, look at these lower highs. That's a 135 pattern, folks. That's the pattern we're going to be talking about a lot on the 17th when I do the live trading session. That's the one you want to look at. Now, we've come down and we have broken down below really significant stuff. So let's just look at it here on a long-term basis, so you can see where we really are in this, because we're getting close to someone's going to have to make a big decision here at the Fed of whether they're going to let this dollar run to the moon, or we're going to find out. 877-927-6648.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors. Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, we're back, folks. This is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tom O'Brien. But what I want to do is to talk to you just a little bit about this euro position here, because when we get to this level right here, which is basically at par, it's going to be really important because we've been at par before. Those of you that have followed the euro since it started trading back in 1998, it started at par, went down to 64, then went to 160, and then back to 60, back to par again several times. So par is a really important thing, and we've had a lot of problems in Europe, as you can see from some of the charts that we've showed with other commodities and other cross rates from that area, mainly the British pound. British pound is heading towards that 120 level, folks. And that's another one that's been very, very bearish. Now, we didn't have double positions on. We didn't have short the pound and short the euro because that doubles the risk. And all I try to do is to be risk averse. That's the main thing that I wanted to bring to your attention here. So see what's going on, and we'll see what's going on to that section here, to what we're watching. Anyway, I hope that helps, because it gives you an idea of where we are in the long-term picture of this. We're only, see, we broke the coveted 104 level yesterday, folks. We got to 103.05, and that means that we're most probably, given this beautiful pattern that you're seeing here, this ABCD and the 78% level here at par, that's most probably where we're going to be going. So let's remind ourselves to pay attention to that, because you're going to be taking out the lows of several years, and that's going to be really interesting here. Okay, now look, we could easily be going to Euro 82. And we could go to 82. Heck, we could go to 64 again. You don't know where it's going to go. All I'm saying, I'm look at this on the somebody's talking in the background. I don't know what's happening there, but let's not. Oh, we got a caller in. Okay, I don't see this, and our caller is from San Diego. Yes, sir. What can I help you with, Irene?
Hi. You've been talking about buying cryptos because
yes.
it's going down and it'd be a good time to buy. I don't even know the first thing. Can you just point me in a direction of what I do first in order to buy a crypto?
Well, I'd probably go online and try to get some information online. I get all my information from John Jameson, and I try to give a little bit here and there in this. All I know is you got to be very, very careful. He likes the exchange called Kraken, Krakken. That's where I would go to start to look. And there's two or three of them that we're looking at. One is HBAR. And there's another one that is interesting, which is Cardano, which is ADA. But these are not in buying modes yet, Irene. So if you belong to the after we buy them, I'm certainly going to talk about them in the thing here. But before we buy them, I want to be prepared. It's one of the things I'm going to be doing on the 17th on my day show is to go through some of these things. I'm going to take at least a half hour to go. Irene, I'm like you. I don't know diddly squat what these things are. They're so far over my pay grade that Irene, I know one thing: AB equals CD, and I make a darn good living doing it, and no one's going to change me over it.
Right,
and so
right.
that's the main thing.
I'm in your course on Tuesday, so I want to be
good.
prepared.
Well, you're gonna. Don't worry. We'll take care of you. So don't. You can go in and search around for it, but believe me, the subject matter is so intense, and it's here to stay. It's like the internet was in 1986. Nobody thought anything about it, until about 1996. So this is the same thing. This started in 2012, and now we're 2022, and it's a legitimate thing. What we're seeing is a big washout. Some of the things that have happened, like this one with Lunar or whatever it is. I mean, there's probably a lot of different stories you could wrap around this, but things like that happen. These are speculative markets, and the persons that stayed with that all the way down, they have no one to blame but themselves. I mean, you have to protect yourself all the time. That's where risk is the number one thing. When you buy something, if you buy something for a nickel, you're only going to risk a nickel, right? But if you buy something 120, you risk 120. You don't want to do that. That's good. You realize a month ago that was worth $2.5 million, and yesterday it was worth $200.
Right.
That's not fun, Irene.
No. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the seminar.
Yeah, it's okay.
Week,
and
so.
you can always reach me. If you want to give me a call, I'll be happy to answer the question. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be offering something that is very, very cheap. In other words, the downside on it is going to be zero. So we're going to buy it at a few $100s. We're going to go to zero with it. And if it's right in 2 years, it might be worth a lot of money. I'm going to show you what's happened in the past with it, and then you decide whether you want to do it or not. But I'm frankly going to be doing my first crypto trades probably right after the 17th. We're shooting for the bottom to come in around the 22nd is what we're looking for, but we'll be getting ready for it on the 17th.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much.
You bet. I appreciate your call, and it's always nice. And I certainly love San Diego.
I love Tucson. I used to live there.
Oh, really? Yeah, I live up in the foothills. Yeah, I never lived in San Diego, but I've certainly been there many times. That's for sure. Okay,
right.
thanks for calling in.
Larry.
All right. You bet. Appreciate you listening to us and supporting here as TFNN. Looking at this monthly chart here in the euro, you can see here that there is strong support here at this par level. So we'll be paying it close. It's not very far away, folks. We were at 102 just in April, and here we are. We're only a couple points away, so that's not a big deal, to get to that price of what we're watching here today. I haven't seen what's going on with the markets, but I want to spend just a tiny bit of time here on the silver and gold because we've been very, very fortunate to be short the gold most of the way down. Let's get this up here so we can take a look at this silver chart because we got a chance here, folks, that if we get all the way down to this level here under something like a washout of some kind, and we get anywhere near $19 per $19 an ounce in silver, I really think you got to take a chance at that one, folks, because your risk there would be about $1 an ounce. And I would recommend, if you can, I understand that the silver rounds that I've liked so much, they're coming into more supply now, so that's really good. The premium has dropped on them quite a bit from what one of my contacts told me yesterday. The premium was it was around $7 or $8 a coin. It's down to about $4 a coin now, I was told. So that's partly related to the price drop. But if we get to this level right here on the chart here, this is right at $19, folks. That's back to those old highs here. We had the big washout here at the big ABCD at 11. That was back about 2.5 years ago. And from there, we went, all the way up to the 78% retracement of the whole move. That was up near $30. And now we're backing off. And if you believe in inflation is here to stay, and all the things the Fed has done over these years has not been good for us, you want to start thinking about owning some silver and gold, because eventually, and the key word there is eventually, there's going to be some opportunities here that you'll be able to take advantage of. Hey, we're going to take a little break here. 877-927-6648.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN has just launched their new trading room, the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. And now they are expanding their reach with the Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. In the Tiger's Den, you can look over the shoulders of Tom O'Brien and the other TFNN hosts while they analyze charts during their live Tiger TV programs, and join an interactive trading community with hundreds of members exchanging ideas. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day, even at night and on the weekends. The Tiger's Den at Discord is accessible on mobile or tablets as well, so it's always at your reach. To sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, this is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tommy O'Brien. And for those of you that don't like astrology, turn off the machine and go watch an episode of Cheers or something, because we want to hear what Shane has to tell us, because this dude's been buried since January the 4th. And what are you looking at today, my friend?
Good morning, Larry. Happy Friday to you.
Yes, sir. The triskaidekaphobia. This is the day they took care of the old Knights Templar. Remember that? When the King of France?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they made a lot of very profitable movies off this day, too.
They sure have.
Yep. All right. So thank you for having me on this morning segment. So we're going to continue to talk about what we did last time with this lunar eclipse. I will be talking more about this in my webinar tomorrow, but I'm going to touch on the different markets because this is a significant event right now coming on. But let's talk about some headlines. This was a big week of headlines. We had this inflation report that came in at 8.3, and that's significant because we were hoping it would get under 8. Everybody was, and then it actually crept the other way. So that's at a 40-year high. And then right after that, the wholesale inflation comes in at 11%. Annual rate, and that's not good because that's typically that needs to be coming down too. That can be lower, so that's higher too, and so this isn't good. So 11%, Larry, that's high. That means if you put your money in the account, your money is losing 11% a year just by sitting there. So that's quite shocking, especially since we're this far into it. Now, Powell has been talking about, first it was transitory, he said, and then he said that we're going to have a soft landing and all of this. Now he says he can't guarantee a soft landing. And so we're starting to see the markets come under a lot of stress right now. So I think there are many factors of this. The main driver is the Fed, but astrologically, we did talk about the stellium. Now, this is important because this stuff shows up in waves. And this showed up at the beginning of the year. They come like sets of waves, and then they disappear for months at a time. So they tend to be positive influences. So if you go back through history, if you go back to all the major market crashes, 29, 87, because the market is a collection of people and the psychology is a collective as a whole, what happens is it tends to go to the lowest common denominator, which is fear and greed. So when these planets line up, it tends to have a positive effect on our moods, and the markets tend to go up. And then we also talked about, for those, this is a new audience, but I'm just going to talk to you about this. When these geomagnetic storms come off of the sun, it tends to have a negative effect also on the psyche of people. And this is a well-studied phenomenon. There was a study, I talked about this in a webinar and also in your show, and I've been talking about this for a while. But this is a well-known phenomenon that when these geomagnetic storms come off of the sun, the week following this tends to be extremely bearish. Now, this report that I'm showing you is an actual report published by the Federal Reserve of Atlanta. This is a report published by the Fed. And so this is significant because when this storm came off on March 31st, that was the high of the market. This is very interesting because this also coincides with the market seasonals. When we get these geomagnetic storms that come off. So this is a very real phenomenon. It affects the health of people. It's well documented, health and moods of people. But now we can see it does affect the markets. And again, it makes sense if the markets are a collective psyche of people that it's going to affect the market. And it affects the small cap markets more than the large cap because the small caps tend to be the smaller investors. So we have all of these events. So we had the stellium early in the year. We had this geomagnetic storm that comes across and marks that top off of that March 31st low. And if we go back and we look at the COVID peak, we had a similar phenomenon again. We had these peaks of stelliums coming in, and then we had, after the largest peak here, the market declines into here. And again, this is a pattern going back to all the major market crashes. We can go back and find these stelliums, particularly 1987, Larry. I think you know that many astrologers were looking at this in 87 in the summer, right around August. There was a very tight conjunction of planets, and it took a while. It took a few months, but then it came down with that energy. So very interesting stuff for sure. But right now, the S&P, we finished the stelliums. That geomagnetic storm came across and hits that high, and so the S&P has really come off here. This is an intraday chart here, and this is what's going on here with the S&P at this geomagnetic storm. So when this hits the market right here, this is the geomagnetic storm on 331. And then each of these rallies that we saw coincided with the stellium. So it's very interesting how these cycles of the universe are playing out harmonically in the S&P. But the main driving force here, of course, is what the Fed is doing. and the Fed is continuing this tightening. So I cannot see this getting better for a while. As long as the Fed is continuing to do what they're doing, we are still likely headed lower. Now, one of the things that I like to look at is the VIX. The VIX is, Larry, the VIX is barely moving up on this. So to me, that's a sign that there's, from the standpoint of the VIX, there's likely more selling coming in on this market. And I think the next thing we have to look for now is this lunar eclipse. So we've been looking at these different cycles. Like I said, there's different things to look at. We looked at the storm, we looked at the stellium. Now let's look at a single event, which is the lunar eclipse. And I'm going to talk more about this over the weekend. But this lunar eclipse, what happens here is we're able to see the moon, but it's going to have a reddish tint to it. It's going to look like they call it the blood moon, and that has to do with the different refraction rates of different colors in the spectrum. So violet's going to refract the most, and as it goes down, red's going to refract the least. And so what happens is those other colors get refracted out, and we're able to see the red. So the moon looks like it's red because we're casting the shadow on it. And this is going to be visible across the eastern seaboard of the United States. And so why is this important? Well, if we go back and study how did the markets behave around these planetary events, this particular one is an eclipse. Now, this is a single event. I typically look at broad-based pictures, okay? This one is important, though, because lunar eclipses tend to be negative events for multiple markets. So I'm going to show you a few charts here. So we're going to start first with the S&P 500. And what this does is this shows you how the markets behave leading up to the lunar eclipse. So here's your lunar eclipse down here. This is day 0 down here. And the markets tend to get drawn up into this lunar eclipse. So the fact that we're rallying today is not really a surprise. It is a negative statistical day for the S&P, but this is a pretty big event. And when you have these eclipses, it tends to draw up the market. And so the fact that it's barely able to do that is telling us how strong this downtrend is in the S&P. And so I really would caution people against looking at traditional things like earnings and sentiment, because we have a larger factor here going on, which is the Fed tightening. And so that's really trumping all of these other indicators. So you're starting to see like Bitcoin's turning ahead of its cycle. It's actually going to start hitting a bigger down cycle. When you see these things turning ahead of time, that's a bad sign. And so this is showing us the S&P really having some weakness into next week. I give the specific dates here to the subscribers, but I'm just trying to kind of warn everybody. I want everybody to be safe out there. And I've been talking, Larry, I've been talking about this for a while. Before any of this big selling started, I have been talking, and I've been talking about Bitcoin too, that both of these are going to fall, and they fall together. And so I just want everybody to be extra careful out there with these markets. So this is why I've been trying to give people the heads up on this, even people who are just viewing this who aren't subscribers.
Well, you're absolutely true of that. One of the things that people, we got to take a break here. Can you stay with us for another segment, Shane?
Absolutely. I want to
talk about J.P. Morgan.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, we're back, folks. This is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tommy O'Brien. We're chatting with Shane Smolian. And Shane, I don't know if you've ever been to New York to the J.P. Morgan Museum, which was the home of J.P. Morgan in his library. If you go in and Google it, you'll be able to see the ceiling of his library, which is like a gymnasium almost, because it's got so much stuff in it. Is basically the celestial, sky, and the secret passageway to come in from the residence into the library was right over his birth sign of April the 17th. And so it's really interesting. But the most important part of that library is J.P. Morgan had the best, better than the Vatican. Well, no one knows because the Vatican's got some real secret stuff, but he had the best collection of Bibles on the planet. And of course, some of them are still there. The rest of them are in the Smithsonian. But if you ever go to that museum, you'll be able to see some of those beautiful things. Most of them are done by hand, and then there's a few of them that were done by the original Gutenberg presses when they were first printing the Bibles. This is going back into the late 1800s. So if you ever go there, folks, go to it. It doesn't cost very much at all, and it's really, really worth it. Got some beautiful things of the past that I think you'd enjoy seeing. I take a time away from you, my friend, so please tell us what else you're looking at.
Sure. Doesn't Arch Crawford share his birthday too? They both have the same birthday.
Yeah, Arch is April 17th also. Yep, sure is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's great minds, same birthdays, right?
I hope so.
I miss Arch. I miss him.
Yeah, I do too. I certainly do.
We're going to jump to Twitter, and then we're going to jump back to Bitcoin and gold real quick. And again, I'll talk more about this in depth if you guys want to come and join us. But this is interesting. I have my own take on this, okay? So Elon Musk says Twitter temporarily on hold over spam. I don't think that's what it is. Let me tell you what I think this is. Let's look at Apple for a second. Now, this chart here, this is the date that he announces this deal, right? So this is what Apple has done in that same period, right? So this is a weird time. Usually when you buy out a company, you're trying to lock in a price. Typically it's in a bull market. Just like futures hedgers, if you're building houses, you buy the futures to lock in the lumber prices. If you're an airline, if you think the fuel is going up, you buy the futures to hedge against rising prices. So this is a weird one because he buys this company and the market starts falling. So this is Apple here. Now notice what Apple does. Apple starts tanking here. This is Apple. This is the most powerful company on the exchange. They're flush with cash. Great company. This has lost quite a bit of money here. So I think what happened here, this is my take on it. If you take a look at Twitter here, look at Twitter. Twitter has been holding up. Now this little dump off yesterday was after he tweets out that he might be putting the deal on hold. But this stock essentially has been holding up while the rest of the market is crashing. So this is kind of like buying something at the store, and then the next day it's on a 50% sale. So I think he realizes this is not worth $54. I mean, it's clear to me. Like this, if Twitter had been let go down into here with the rest of the market, if it wasn't being tethered up here by his locked-in price, because typically the prices hover around. I mean, they can drift around, but they're going to go to 54 if the deal goes through. This thing would probably be trading in the 30s, and I think he knows that. So I think that's what this. That's my opinion. I think he knows that he got a bad deal on this, and I think that he knows it. So whether he takes it private or not, I think Twitter would be trading down into the 30s right now if he had not made this offer. So that's just my take on Twitter. I think he sees what's going on, and I think he's like, whoa, this is not a good price. And I think that if you look at his Tesla shares have been falling too, and that's that affects this deal too because it's all tied together. So that's my take on Twitter. I just wanted to put people out there, and then also Disney. I follow Disney. Disney's already down into COVID levels, people. So just, this is not good. Disney is an important consumer staple too, in terms of entertainment and leisure.
Yeah, you don't want to fade Mickey Mouse. You don't want to fade Elon Musk. That's basically the old adages of the market because Musk he's a smart guy. I mean, people have lost fortunes betting against him. So, and someday he's probably going to be wrong, but right now he's not. So, got to pay attention to it would be my guess. So. Anyway, listen, I want to thank you for being on our show today, Tommy's show, and I really appreciate everything you do. And keep those cards and letters coming in. We'll have you on again in a week or so, and let us know if anything comes up. By the way, how is the automatic trading going? Still hanging in there pretty good?
It's going well. Yeah, we're making it through. We had another day yesterday. We have trades pretty much every day, but yeah, it's going well. It's stable. We're moving forward, so. It's looking great.
Well, we'll get more information on that soon. So thanks for joining us, Shane, and may God bless.
Thanks, Larry. Take care. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Okay, we'll get back, folks. I have one other story. I think I've mentioned this before. When I was in Bishop Schulte High School in Terre Haute, Indiana, I had a mentor, not a mentor, what do you call it? A tutor for Spanish because I didn't do well in Spanish. And so I had a Spanish tutor. She was a novitiate before she became a nun. And then when she finally did, Sister Estelle went to St. Mary's of the Woods, which was having a really bad time. This was in the late 60s, of course, the 50s and 60s. And she stayed there for many years and built it up and to a tremendous girls' college it is to this day. And then when she retired, as her reward for doing such a great job for the church, they gave her a job at the Vatican Library. And so after I did my first book, Astrocycles, A Trader's Viewpoint, I went to Italy because I wanted to see the Vatican, and I spent a week in Rome and visiting with her, and I just was really incredible, and she was proud of me, the fact that here I didn't do too well in high school, but I did pretty well in the rest of the stuff. But she was telling me about the stuff that the largest astrological library is in the Vatican. And it's in the floor. She only had access to the 6th floor of the Vatican Library. And I asked her how many levels does it go to, and she says quite a few. She wouldn't give me the exact one, but she said the bottom part of it are the really rare things, from antiquities. And she said there's a whole section there about the Bible and all the stuff that had astrology in it. But in 333 A.D., the Council of Nicaea in Constantinople, they decided to take all the books of astrology that were there out of the Bible, including the Book of Enoch. And so that's why there's a lot of conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it. But, it's nothing more of a way of looking at things with numbers as far as I'm concerned. And that's basically what I'm watching here as I look at some of these things today. I don't understand astrology very much. That's why I've got people, that are here that know it pretty well, and they've they've given us some really great information, folks. So these cycles certainly work in the market. And if you can make a buck off of it to help other people, may God bless. That's all you really have to know about it. And that's the main thing. So I did have one other story. Is the only book that I ever got returned was right after I started selling the Astro Cycles, A Trader's Viewpoint. A lady from Nebraska called me up and said she wanted her money back. She said, because I was using astrology and I was an instrument of the devil. And I said, you're probably right, but not for the reasons you might think. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. You got to live the Christian dream, boys. Live like Christ did, and you're going to be okay. And that's what I've always tried to do. And we'll go to the next one. 877-927-6648. Billy Ray Valentine for Tommy O'Brien Jr.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With market volatility roaring back in April, Larry Pesavento has just announced a 5-hour live trading webinar coming up on May 17th. Larry Pesavento is a 56-year trading veteran and has mastered his trading skills through many different market fluctuations. Join Larry on May 17th as he hosts a live 5-hour trading webinar from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, giving you insight into how he analyzes the market and decides his plays. Larry will delve deep into the ABCD trading pattern, explaining how to structure your trading day, the times most likely to generate signals, which signals to ignore, and how to use the pattern to mitigate risk. In this all-day 5-hour live trading webinar, take a seat by Larry's side as he trades the markets real time, including the Dow and S&P 500E mini, crude oil, natural gas, gold, treasury bonds, wheat and soybeans, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, and more. If you've ever wanted to get inside the mind of a market master, you cannot miss this live trading webinar. To sign up today, just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
We're back, folks. This is Larry Pesavento setting in for Tommy Jr. I just wanted to bring this chart up. I'm not going to be able to show these on my show because Peter Leides is going to be doing the whole hour. Don't miss that in an hour from now because he's really good. Anyway, you'll notice here, this is where we were on May the 5th. Okay, now we're 8 days into that. That means from the 5th to the 22nd, which would be this low down in here, we should have a big move down in stocks. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is we've been very fortunate to make a great deal of money here over the past 3.5 weeks. And the folks that were at our London seminar and then the people that are going to come into the live trading thing on the 17th, we're very appreciative of this. But folks, hey, we were short gold too. That worked out okay. We were short bonds. That worked out okay. But they don't always work this way, folks. You're going to have bad periods. So, when things work in your favor, try to help your neighbors out. That's the main thing. You got to do good things in life. You got to do good deeds. And that's it. I know, because money, one of my things that I hate the most about California, they got this stupid license plate cover that says the man who dies with the most toys wins. Anybody that believes that, they ought to go to church right now. Anyway, let's move on and see what happens here these next few days. We're living interesting times when you see a stock like Luna. Of course, it's a crypto, which is, it's a coin flip or whatever happened to that thing. The story will come out someday, but who knows what really happened. And the thing with Twitter and Elon Musk, all those are games that they play on Wall Street all the time. My goodness, you got to get used to it. That's why I'm a technician, folks. I don't pay attention to that stuff. If prices are going up, there are more buyers. If prices are going down, there's more sellers. And if you remember those, the main 4 letters you remember, AB equals CD, and you're going to be okay. So we're going to have Peter Leides as our guest on my show coming up in about an hour. So try not to miss that. It'll be a lot of fun. And he's very, very good at what he does. And he believes in it and loves it. And you can hear it in his voice and everything. So he's a stand-up guy. See you later, folks. May God bless.